This is Wandering About Wyoming, a video log about our time in the wonderful, square, polygonal state of Wyoming, where the wind is plentiful and the meteorologists unnecessary. We have a winter storm coming in, apparently in the next 48 hours. And everyone from outside of the state of Wyoming has warned me, but nobody inside it has warned me about it. So I suppose it's just another type of Tuesday.
We're expecting 8 inches?
8 or 9, but
And we're not talking
a
about
person from the gym.
someone's member.
Yeah, here in Wyoming, that's the average length.
Of snow. For a snowstorm.
But I was told at the gym that it was going to be 15 inches.
Oh,
So I don't know who to believe.
I guess we're going to find out.
Okay. We confirmed today that the difference between a snowstorm and a blizzard is wind intensity. We had a lot of material that we can't remember that we've talked about. So much so that it just completely goes out the wall.
Well, we do know that we have some piece of news from Oil City News.
Oh, tell
Which
us.
was pretty interesting, and that was that people like the Department of Traffic cameras, or because they have found certain moments on those cameras that are not what the cameras were made for.
Interesting, like what?
Like a sunrise or sunset, and then they just screenshot it, and then they have a picture of the sunrise and sunset at that time. Other interesting picture was a raven hanging out right in front of one of the cameras, as if a selfie was being taken.
Oh, was it doing duck lips?
It was like...
That is what is that called? What are the kids calling it these days?
I don't know. It's sort of what you do in photos, actually. Yeah, that's what you do in photos.
Yeah. Well, it's just to
So imagine if you
emulate
did that.
joy. Okay, so its wings were outspread too?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it was just like resting on the lip, I think, of the camera or something like that.
I think I got a dose of neighborly behavior in my recent assistance as a stage manager. I had a lot of interaction with new people in my life, medium new people in my life, and we spent 6 weeks doing a production of On Golden Pond, which was a beautiful play about end of life recognition and reconciliation and old loves, new loves, time changing, appreciation of life. And it was really wonderful interacting with these people. Everyone was just it's small enough theater where every single performance you get snacks at intermission for free, coffee, ate a lot of donuts, met people of all age groups, from middle school to well beyond retired years. And it was just another like people really wanted to help each other despite like either opposing views or some types of difficulty in interactions. And I know that happens everywhere, all over the place. But I think that in small areas, expectations of neighborliness and kindness is almost a requirement.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I did get stuck in a parking lot with my golf cart, which is what I call a 2015 Chevy Spark that I bought when I lived in a place near sea level with a lot of roads. Though when I bought it, I also lived off a dirt road, so figure that out, I suppose. But anyway, I got stuck in a parking lot because of the snow. And
The snow.
a gentleman named Stefan
Oh, you didn't tell me his name. Was
stopped
he a
by
vampire?
with his truck. He didn't look like a vampire.
Oh.
I guess if
Vampire Diaries fans will love it.
if he was some sort of mythical TV show creature, he'd probably be a werewolf, maybe?
Is that just not true of most men
It is.
here?
It is true of most men in Wyoming. I think most. So there are definitely places like. So if you go to perhaps Berlin, I would expect that most men there would be, if they were a TV show mythical creature, they would be vampires.
Uh-huh.
They're just, tall, pale, they wear their coats, their fancy coats with their fancy collars, and it's all gray and black. And a scarf or two.
With their long
Faces.
faces and giraffe necks.
Right, and their coats are like, in addition to their giraffe legs, their coats are down to their ankles. So that is like a vampire heavy place. But this place is definitely a werewolf place.
Okay. And what are
Or
the
perhaps a
defining
weird bear
characteristics
is
of
more
a werewolf
accurate.
place?
Maybe they're like what's his name
bear
in Lord of the
people?
Rings, yeah.
Shapeshifters.
Anyway, this possible bear man had two
Is it the beef?
spades,
Yeah. Most people have 2 shovels in their cars.
and so
I
together
don't
we
even
dug
have
out my
one. I
car.
had to give it to this bozo because his car is more
We have 2 shovels.
fragile.
Totally.
Yes.
And we will soon have 3. There will probably be an
Where are we
entrenching
getting it?
tool.
Oh, I see. Oh, you getting it?
If I don't find my poop shovel, I used to have a
Titanium.
ultralight titanium poop shovel. It was just like about this size, and it was one of my most prized possessions, but somehow got misplaced in the move.
I tell you, a lot of people think that the best day of your life is going to be some type of tax commitment or marriage indoctrination, but the best day in this man's life is going to be when he finds his poop shovel.
It's just an amazing tool. It's a poop shovel, but you can use it to shovel other things. And
Yeah.
it's very, very light, so you can just carry it
And there's
everywhere.
not many tools where you
And
can do multiple things.
Speaking
with
as
it.
someone who used to ruck a lot, that weight difference makes a big deal. And then the fact that it's so hard, so you can just scrape all sorts of things, even if the ground is full of rocks.
Remember to up your voice because of the sound.
Okay. But anyway, since that poop shovel is gone, I will probably get a titanium entrenching tool, which will be a little more heavy and probably have a spade part that's about this big, and then
It folds. It's the folds one.
Yeah. Speaking of tools, it appears that the axe that I used for
You want to show them?
ice fishing,
Do you
no,
want me to go get it?
it's okay. They can imagine it.
Wait for this disappointment, audience.
Because the axe got quite soaked as I was hammering into the ice, the back of the axe head has a hammer. I think it's either the Trail Hawk or the Gunner's Hawk or something like that from Cold Steel. Anyway, I was using
I thought
it.
it was the pipe hawk.
Oh yeah, I guess it was the pipe hawk. I was using that to get into the ice, and it was getting very wet, and
Now it's dislodged.
yeah, and
Now it's just a shaft and a metal piece, and we
the
need
wood
to. And we
shrank.
don't have a mallet.
We do have a mallet.
I don't think we do. Where is it at?
Would you like to bet on it?
I think we have a hammer, but I don't think we have a mallet.
We have a mallet.
Like one of the rubber ones?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I mean, I remember having one, but I didn't know if we still had it.
I don't know whose it is. It's not mine, but
Okay, then it might be mine.
it's colorful.
It's
I
colorful?
think it's Danica's.
Why'd she bring a mallet here? Is it in your car?
Yeah, she just put it in my car.
Oh.
That's how I know about it.
Okay, well, I was thinking underneath the sink. You're hiding tools. He doesn't even use tools.
Yeah, I didn't use that axe at all. It just magically
Also, I don't
changed.
think a dull side of an axe is gonna be able to like help you too much in hitting the. Like you probably have put way more energy into breaking that ice than using the sharp side of the axe.
No, the
Did you use both?
I attempted both, and I think for my purposes, at that, so I was going from, I went about 5 inches, and so, and I think the total thickness of the ice was around 8 inches, and so for that point, those points, or at least the first 4 inches, the hammer was more useful. But I think there's a certain point at which the axe would become more useful, probably as we get closer to the water. But I'll probably just get a chisel or something.
We had some pretty crappy donuts this week.
We did, and so we will not name where they came from. Other than our search for donuts goes on.
And they keep, oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you that Grant Street snuck attack a donut in there that they didn't put on their list. It was a strawberry cheesecake filled donut with chocolate glaze.
So we've heard many, or she has told me many good things about Grant Street, but of course we have not.
We keep missing it's only on Saturday mornings. And they said 2 weeks ago. They said 2 weeks ago they were stopping making donuts. And so I was just like, oh, haha, we're not going to go do donuts there, I guess. But I'll check their pastries every so often. And they had the pastries posted. And I was like, oh, this week it's just cinnamon rolls and something else that wasn't as exciting. And they had like bananas Foster a couple weeks ago. Just really intriguing combinations. Not necessarily like bonkers, ridiculous, like that can't work, like pickles and peanut butter.
Nothing from the West Coast.
Nothing from the West Coast, but certainly like appreciable kind of combinations. They had we tried a pear tart there, pear custard tart, that I thought was pretty baller. I don't like pears that much because of the texture. Or I don't hate them. I would eat a million of them if I had to, but it's not a fruit that I'd pick out on purpose.
So the hunt for donuts goes on. I do think that the price of oils that are best for frying going up does impact that availability somewhat. At least for me, in terms of me making donuts. One of the things that keeps me from making donuts is definitely the awareness of the price of oil. Of like how much oil we use for one batch.
Something that I was told this week is that the first things that people ask each other, which is also true in the Midwest for me, is they don't ask your name first. They ask you, where do you work or where do you go to church?
I have been asked what I do for a living, but nothing else so far.
Yeah. People have asked me that about you too. And I said, he inspires me. And drops hair on the floor. We just cleaned the hair in the tub, and it was mostly his.
I'm making up for all the time that I was clean shaven and pretty close to shaved on the top.
You've been making up for that for a while, like several years.
I started shaving my head when I was 13 years old.
Yeah, which is why you're making up for it. Yeah. You should see his ear hairs. You can't really see them there, but they're like almost like wrapped around. And maybe you'll be the first werewolf, Wyoming werewolf, lycanthrope.
We should perhaps come up with some sort of thing like Bigfoot if it doesn't already exist here. Something like that. I guess the jackalope is what is the...
I think the jackalope is
state
more southwestern.
Mythological animal here.
Maybe it's in the almanac.
we'll have to look for it, but
Yeah, I don't think it would be that easy to find.
until next time, perhaps we have just enough time for our Wyoming conspiracy segment.
It's true. I found, just by flipping through the 2015 Wyoming Almanac, the first murder in Casper, committed by a man in Lou Polk's dance hall in 1890. I really doubt that is the first murder in Casper.
Yeah,
Polk is
maybe
said
it's the
to
first
charged
murder.
murder.
That went through the court system.
Polk is said to have furnished the gun unto the murderer. It's a terrible description.
Okay, so flip again while keeping your thumb there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you are at Bernu Aquanetta.
Born on the Wind River Reservation, this is film actors with Wyoming connections. Not even fine from Wyoming, just that they know someone in Wyoming. Was reared in Norristown, Pennsylvania. She signed with Universal Pictures in 1942 after a brief career in modeling in New York. The sultry brunette claimed she was from Venezuela, and the studio dubbed her the Venezuela Volcano. She appeared in several films but never gained stardom. You gotta look her up. In 1949, she filmed an ad for a tobacco company, and the footage was shot at Cheyenne Frontier Days, and it showed Aquanetta puffing on a cigar.
So we can say that Bernu Aquanetta
What a
once
name.
owned the very revolver that killed someone in Lou Polk's dance hall. How did she get that revolver?
That is the worst. Moving on, but let's keep those two things. Okay, I'm looking at. What am I looking at? Some cases of censorship, and then the first one I looked at was the AIDS film from Deaver, 1992. A tenured Rocky Mountain middle school teacher was dismissed by the school board for insubordination in July of 1992 for showing students an AIDS education film and allowing them to read non-approved literature. Captain, my captain. School officials also charged the woman, Captina.
It's still the same. It's a unisex rank at this point.
Allowing students to read Jack Kerouac,
On the road?
the poem and novel Summer of 42.
Oh.
Censorship.
And so, this woman, this teacher, was inspired by
Bernu.
the tobacco ad starring Bernu Aquanetta, and she had inherited the revolver, which she uses to kill angels, because she's secretly on the side of Satan.
I had a sneeze. I love that story.
Which is why she recommended Jack Kerouac, known occultist.
Known occultist,
Kerouac.
Jack. Okay,
And that
your turn.
is our Wyoming conspiracy segment.
Oh, we're just doing one.
Mhm.
Ah, man, what other things? We got one more good thing that we've noticed about Wyoming. We've certainly acclimatized. I did not get super dehydrated on the mountain the other day. We've been snowshoeing a lot, going to the archery range.
Oh, I saw a kind of vehicle that I had never seen before, which is something that looked like a cross between a dirt bike and a snowmobile.
Very expensive, very pricey.
Apparently you've seen them before.
No.
So it looks like a dirt bike, and it's narrow like a dirt bike, but then it has the skis and the treads of a snowmobile.
There were 6 of them on the mountain that day. It's a lot of monies.
I'm wondering, you said that they're probably dedicated vehicles, but I would not be surprised if they're somehow like modified dirt bikes.
I did not say they were dedicated vehicles.
Do you imply that they were just whatever those vehicles were?
Oh,
And that
like they weren't modified. I see. I didn't know that. That's what that meant.
And
I was like, I'm sure I did not say that.
I was just wondering, in this show called Wondering About Why.
Yeah. What is the thing that we were supposed to say a couple episodes ago? gouging
around,
gouging. Ow.
which was apparently at least a Western Wyoming slang in the
Doge.
20th
In
century.
the time that the guy who got murdered at the Lou Polk's dance hall,
No, after that.
at the time that Bernou was doing cigar
Possibly.
commercials
Yeah.
in the Cheyenne's Frontier days.
Yeah.
Hot dog. Also, we were offered to stay at somebody's place in Cheyenne, and that's very generous whenever we want to visit.
So we may learn more about Cheyenne.
Yeah. Well, for this episode, this is Wandering About Wyoming.